I did it, Calvin.
You did it?
We're recording. I hit the button.
Has it been over a week?
Just about.
Just about.
We've both been busy, so time's been passing weird.
Yeah, it's been a little weird. It's been a little weird.
It's been a little weird.
I feel like time has been like passing a little bit weirder, especially because the weather's been really weird.
I mean, I just feel like everything's always slow because I only play Caustic. You know what I mean? He just runs so slow because he's a big old tubby boy. You know what I mean?
Episode 14.
14. We're here.
Episode 14 of Pex Pals.
The Pex Pals, the number one Apex Legends podcast for the mediocre gamer.
That's
not the
right.
number one Apex Legends podcast in the world. Not yet.
Not yet, but Not the yet. Number one for the mediocre gamer.
For the mediocre gamer. That's me. I'm JoelCupcake.
And I'm CowVan.
My good friend CowVan.
Yeah. And we're here for another episode of episode 14 of Pex Pals. We got some nice fun things to talk about this episode. But first off, follow us on Instagram. Pex Pals. Check us out on there.
It's Pex Pals Podcast on Instagram.
Pex Pals Podcast on Instagram. Also check us out on TikTok. We have a TikTok now, and we only have one post up there. But Pex Pals, check us out on TikTok. Once we get some more content, we're gonna throw some more up on there. So go check us out.
Check it out, please. And as always, if you have a subject you want us to talk about, leave a comment on one of the episodes on YouTube or in the review section on any of the podcast networks, or email us or tweet us, Twitter, tweet us, whatever. Or you can always email just pexpalspodcast@gmail.com.
Do it.
First thing I want to talk about this week, congratulations to Team Kungarana for winning the North American ALGS championship. They won a portion of that $260,000 pot.
Oof.
Don't know exactly what they got, but hey, they won. They won. That final game was insane. I have never seen a pro Leroy Jenkins it. I don't know if you watched the last match yet, Calvin.
No, I didn't watch it.
Dude, there's like 4 teams fighting. There's 2 or 3 Gibby bubbles going off. All right. There's a caustic alt in the middle of every fucking thing.
My God.
One of the teams gets a fucking mobile respawn off, Calvin. I'm not shitting you. They're like, it's like the final ring when it's slowly closing, right?
Yeah.
This Bloodhound lands pulls out his heirloom and just punches 2 people out of the ring and gets the kills for them that way. Dude, I was like, this is insane. That's actually not the team that ended up winning, but It was still hilarious. That I think it was like the 3rd team knocked off the 4th team that way.
Right. That's intense, dude.
It was hilarious, dude. I was thoroughly entertained. But anyways, the team that won, I'm not going to name off their names because I don't know what their handles are and I don't want to look it up, so I'm lazy. But one of the things I want to talk about on the show today is your team comp and new ways that the game has changed lately. One of the things we talked about was VALK. And many episodes, we talked about how it's a new play style. It brings a kind of a fresh aspect to the game, as do most of the new characters they added. So the team was a Valkyrie, a Caustic, and a Gibby. Now, I love that. So shouts to those people for that sweet W and that cash they're getting. But dude, Calvin, Valkyrie, Gibraltar, have you run that loadout yet? Dude,
No, because no one I know plays Valkyrie.
Well, I play Valkyrie. The problem is we don't have a Gibby.
That's just true. I mean, I can play Gibby, and I've been dabbling in the Gibby.
Actually, Muffin's maining Gibby now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's actually who I've been doing it with. Our friend Muffin. His gamer tag is the Banhammer.
Yeah.
Dude, him and I have been running Valk Gibby, bro. I mean, you have her tactical with the stun and the slow.
Yeah.
Into or around a Gibby ult is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Also, you want to talk about survival and I need a quick escape, bro. Gibby bubble with the Valkyrie ult inside the bubble, unless they are just going to be balls to the wall and rush you're going to have time to escape that way. It's so, we got out of a lot of sticky situations this week doing that, and I love it. So I love the pairing of Gibby Valkyrie. Check it out. There's a lot of good, that's why a lot of teams run Wraith. She has the escape portal. She also has the warning that she's being aimed at.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of good, we've talked in the past about how, the god awful, Revenant crypto octane combo.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You know,
that
so
was a time.
so depending on, doesn't matter who your third is, but give the Valkyrie Gibby a
Gibby.
try. Also, obviously, I'm always down for the big man caustic, but I'm not going to tell you to run that. I'm actually not even going to acknowledge he's on the team that won because I still think they need to fix him. So
yeah. It's funny. It's funny. Like we talk about caustic all the time because you always bring him up, but but it's funny how it's just there's just like the caustic player base is like almost dead. It's virtually non-existent.
There's much less of us these days.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I'm noticing a lot of the caustics I fight, I win because all the caustics have reprogrammed their brains to play aggressive, like you and I talked about.
Right.
But I'm still smart, and I still use the mines in a positioning advantage, in almost a defensive way. You know, so I still play like that. So the caustic's like running in. You know, not telling his team there's another caustic. That's the first thing I do when I see another caustic.
You're like, caustic.
I'm like, there's another caustic, guys, because I don't want the team to get caught.
Right, and think that the bad guy smoke is your smoke.
Yeah, like I just love when a caustic just barrels through my mines and his teammates follow him, and then it's like, oh, this is cute, and I pull out my havoc and just destroy all of them. You know what I mean? You know,
it's funny. Yeah, some of the things that I've noticed recently is like less caustics after the changes. And one of the things that I have noticed, I've been playing a little bit more ranked this split. I didn't really play much last split.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, but this split, what I've noticed is last season, Bloodhound used to get assist points for scans. If you scanned an enemy and your teammate dropped him in like the first like 10 to 15 seconds after you scanned, Bloodhound got an assist on that kill.
Yeah.
And so they got rid of that. So now Bloodhound doesn't get assist on scans. And I've seen
now is it not at all, or is it just
not at all?
It has to be in like the first 3 seconds.
Not at all.
Okay, so we actually fantasy suggested that.
Yeah. And so so they got rid of that, and I've seen less Bloodhounds in ranked now. Like
which is tight. Hopefully that means we get more Watsons, and we get more Caustics, and we get more Mirages.
No,
we're not going to.
No, we're not. It's people are still sticking to the sweat picks. You know, the Octanes, the Pathfinders, the Wraiths, the Bangalores,
the Valkyries,
the Lifelines. No, not Valkyries. The Lifelines, the Horizons. Like,
I mean, some of the numbers I saw from the first split, bro, had Valkyrie in the top 5
because Valkyrie's new.
That's a fair point.
It's only because Valkyrie is new, but it's not like, it's not like every team has a Valkyrie right now. It's a lot of it has to do with the same cast that everyone's been using since season 1. You know what I mean? And so I'm seeing a lot less Bloodhounds, and there's still characters in ranked that are just non-existent, like Rampart and Watsons and non-existent, dude. Like Fuse, like you're just not seeing them in ranked. And so these changes are interesting, man. It's funny. It's like they're making changes because people are complaining about certain legends, but then they're not looking at the ones that people pick over and over and over. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And the one they have, Lifeline, is perceived as a nerf, and I mean, we had a whole segment talking about how, like, I think she got a buff. I think, yes, the loss of the shield is that specific aspect is a nerf, but her kit is significantly overall stronger now, in my opinion. Especially if you pair her with the right teammates.
See, that's the thing, though, is even with her nerf, quote unquote, I still push when a Lifeline reses, you know what I mean? So it is at I would say at like a higher level, it's hardcore nerf. Like it still works because like you have to cover ground and you're still gonna get shot at when you're pushing. But like if you're close quarters, that shield is not, it's not there. So, trying to do a res, get them, like it's not it's a nerf. But but what I'm saying is like they're not looking at the people that everybody's picking. Not saying that you need to nerf them, but maybe look at why those people are being picked so much. Like, what is it about those kits that are just so useful, and what is it about the other cast's kits that no one likes? You know what I mean?
For example, like, and Octane is not our legend to talk about this week. Something like him, for example, I think he's like the top pick character right now, if I remember correctly.
He's up there, yeah.
Okay, so I had to do like a weekly with Octane. Okay, I ended up with a Havoc with the turbocharger, and I just kept running around hitting my syringe and hip firing and just murdered a whole team. It was like I was literally cackling. That's the adjective I'm using. Cackling at the end of the game.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago because it was that easy. So maybe someone like Octane has a high pick rate. Okay, so if he's using his stim, he's moving faster, right? So shouldn't he have more recoil applied to him
or something?
I'm just saying, like, I'm agreeing with you. Like, I think the characters that you pick the top, like, why is it? Like, they've already acknowledged that Wraith and Pathfinder have bullshit hitboxes. That's why they even invented low profile in the first place, to try to adjust that. Right. And I think they should have taken out low profile. I'm not suggesting add that back in, but what you're right. Like, I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure. Yeah,
they'll figure it out. It's not a big deal. Anyways, what is your weapon of the week there, JoelCupcake?
My weapon of the week, it's more of a combo of the week.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna say the Kraber, and if we want to do a non-red box gun or a non, what's in the box weapon, I'll go with like the Sinti. You know what I mean?
Oh, Kraber, Sinti.
So Kraber or Sinti or you can throw the triple take in there.
Okay, hold on. You are not a Senti guy. What happened?
Okay, I'm getting there. First off, that gold sentinel is a thing of beauty when you drop waterfall and do manage to get it. I love it.
Oh yeah,
I love it. I didn't realize that they changed the charges away from bats and into cells. So it's much more, the functionality of the charge shot to me is much more worth it now. So there's that. But my combo is, if you need to get sniper damage done in the BR mode, all right? Okay. If you're trying to get better at sniping, or if you're like, man, I wish there were like, you're like me, where you take like the extra just like half a second too long to line up your shot,
right?
Because sometimes you get a little nervous in the middle of a fight.
A little nervous, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, my Kraber game especially exponentially has increased because I've been playing Valkyrie. Because if you're at medium range and they don't see you, bro, everyone I feel like forgets that the Valkyrie's missile swarm, her tactical, it does 25 damage, but it's also like they got hit by an arc star. Like they're slowed and stunned. So I don't know how many people in the last week I've been able to we got the drop on them, or we like wipe, we third party to fight. And I hit my fucking missile swarm and the person can't run. He's moving at slow speed. And I just pull up the Kraber, boom, done. Bye.
Oh.
Thanks for hanging out. So it's not necessarily a specific weapon of the week, but the marksman weapons coupled with Valkyrie's ability is just, I am loving it, man. Like, I mean, you played with me at decent. Like, there's been games where I'll be like, nope, don't even ping that white.
Oh yeah,
Calvin, if you ping one more sniper stock, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the fact that the triple take is whatever, the charge rifle is whatever, but the fact that you wouldn't even put a fucking 4.8 scope on your sniper rifles pisses me off. But now you're telling me that the Golden Sentinel and the Kraber are your picks for the week. I'm angry.
So you should be angry because you've been trying to tell me this.
Yes.
I was always a triple take guy. I had a phase. I went through a phase where I used the longbow for a little bit. I'm more open to it now, but also having the lateral, movement of Valkyrie, getting to the good high sniper spots has been fucking wonderful. And then that, like I said, coupled with missile swarm, when they're stunned by whether it's your missile storm, bangs ult, or an arc star. Or Rev, no, Rev doesn't technically slow you, but you know what I mean. If there's any sort of stun or a slower movement going on because of that and you have a sniper, man, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole different ballgame.
Dunsies,
You
dude.
know? So that's mine. What about you, sir? What is your weapano of the weeko?
My weapano of the week is the R99. I'm usually like a 301 guy. But for some reason recently the 301, I don't know. I feel like, okay, so the 301 at base starts out with 18 rounds in a clip. Or a magazine. Clips are what Civi's put in her hair. And so,
I was literally about to say that.
I know you. I had to cut you off. And so,
shout out to Bangalore.
Shout out to Bangalore.
The most unappreciated OG legend. I will say.
So, yeah. So the it does not do enough damage to just drop somebody for some reason. I don't know what it is about the 301. The 18 rounds, like, you miss one shot, you're not gonna do it. And I haven't done the math. I haven't really like tested it out, but I just feel like the 99, like when you get that close range, that just rip into them, like it does so much damage so fast that they don't even have a chance to like to respond. And they also like the 99 reloads faster than the 301. Yes. So it's just like you rip them up, and then you reload again, you do it again. And so I've been trying to like get in people's faces, because recently the 301, like mid to long range weapons have not been working out for me. Like, I've missed so many sniping shots. I've missed. Yep. I don't know what it is.
The only thing that's working mid range for me right now, straight up, is the Spitty. Like, that's it. That is it. I'm having better luck with distance engagements with with tap, like burst firing the RE45.
Yeah.
I haven't used the RE45 where I would normally use like an R3 or anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. And so so the 99 has been my gun. The alternator has been my tried and true thing. But I feel like I'm like, man, I just need to like rip. I just need to get in there and rip. And so 99. It's still a great gun.
It's if we recorded this show live in the same room, this show would be over because I'd be boxing you for bringing up the R99. Just so you're aware.
Listen, here's the thing, man. Every time you and I talk, I say this gun's great. You go, no, it isn't. And then the next week you're like, I like this gun. It's so like.
Oh, no. Listen though, because I have problems with what doesn't work for me. I just think the overall actual kit, like the design behind the R99, is stupid.
What? I
don't think. I just don't like the gun. Like, everyone has a gun they complain about in the game.
Okay, you said the same thing about the Sentinel. You said the exact same.
I said I didn't like it. I didn't say it was like overpowered or anything. Like, I think the R.
I think the R99 is overpowered.
Yeah. You plug in your Xbox for a week and play against PC players, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You can laugh all you want, but every single person we also play with on console will say, how do they do that with the R99? Every single person.
Yeah.
Like, with the R3, okay, I get it. The recoil is really not that bad. Spitty recoil is non-existent. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. You know what I mean? The two main weapons where I get furious about being beat by them when I know they're a PC player, it's the Wingman, because they don't miss a single headshot. And then the R99. And it's just because if you don't miss, you're gonna lose the fight. I would say close range R99 is still the king.
Yeah.
I would say second place is I cannot believe I'm actually gonna say this, the EVA 8. Because I've been getting beat with the Havoc with the turbocharger by people with an EVA 8.
EVA 8's been clapping lately.
It does clap. So I would say like the 4 best close range guns are R99 is 1, EVA 8 is 2, Havoc is 3, and RE45 is 4.
My if we're gonna do a top 4, mine is the 99, the Eva, the Volt, and I think for my 4th would be the alternator.
Okay. Alternator does hit harder. I've been revisiting that RE45, and it's just so well balanced.
It's great. No, the thing with RE45 is it shoots fucking straight. Like it does not miss. But the problem with it is the clip size is like relatively small for the amount of damage that it does. So like you're gonna have to go through like 2 clips to down somebody. But I get you. The RE45 is a solid gun.
As a secondary, though, I think it's solid.
It's a solid gun.
Yeah.
Joel, you heard some supposed leaks of new content and
yes, the we won't name him. You all know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
The data miner. Literally he's famous on Twitter because of he data mines Apex information.
Right.
You all know who it is. Even though last week we reported that supposedly we're not getting mid-season content like officially because the split just happened. So normally by now we would have had the heirloom or the takeover or we would have known what's going on for the season, right?
Right.
So that's the split came and went. Everybody, your rank reset, so get back on it. But supposedly June 22nd, they're unveiling, which I believe that's a Tuesday, right? Let me see if that even makes sense. Yep, that
June
is a Tuesday.
22nd. Yeah, next Tuesday.
Which is usually when they do the update stuff. Supposedly June 22nd, we're getting not only a new edition of the game, so like a new payable, a new character skin you have to pay for. But supposedly there's more than just that content coming. It does look like Ranked Arenas has been scrapped for this season because I think we would have had it already, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, they said something about like it coming soon, but honestly, I'm fine with them holding off on it just so that it comes out good.
Well, and honestly, like we're positive about the game on the show. We do have our gripes, but I do truly think that they've already admitted that the issue with arenas is they can't get the leaving penalty right for people who bail on the teammates.
Right.
So I think it is important, especially if you're going to do ranked arenas, to fix that.
Right.
I 100%, I 420% totally back them doing that.
I 69% just because I'm not there yet.
I respect it.
So yeah. So are you okay?
You got me good on that one, dude.
So
you got me good. Between the spicy Topo Chico bubbles and your quality dad joke, I loved it, dude.
No, so we knew at the start of the season that the season was going to be lacking in content. So this is no surprise. But it is surprising that we're getting a new edition, rumored new edition soon, because we just got the Mirage one, and before that was the Gibby one, and that was like a while ago.
And that Gibby skin is fucking sick, though.
It's pretty fire. So not speaking of, but into our next subject, the main part of the today's show is we want to talk about Pathfinder.
Yeah, last week we talked about Uncle Rev. Mm-hmm. We don't have a name for this segment. We're still bouncing the ideas around. I'm just going to call it Fantasy Fixin'. Okay. Because everybody can use a little bit of fixin'. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. But they're always fixing everything. So something's definitely broke. Got it?
I got it. Yada mean.
All right. And as you said, we're talking about our boy Pathfinder, Calvin. What do you have some thoughts formulated here? Or do you want me to go first, my friend?
So let me just talk about Pathfinder for a second. So Pathfinder is one of the original characters. Pathfinder has a tactical ability. He has a grapple hook, which he can cling to a surface and launch himself in the air. He can pull himself to the top of buildings, and then his ultimate is a rope that he can shoot across the map to a pretty good distance, and it can carry the team pretty much anywhere that it sticks. He has, for the longest time, he was the original character to be able to use the beacons to show the next circle after coming up. Zebekon. And that's why beacons are like on top of buildings and shit, because Pathfinder was the only one who can get up there at the time. And so it made sense for him to be the person to do it because he's the only one who can get up there. And so he's gone through, I wouldn't say he's gone through a lot of changes. He's gone through 2 major changes. The first major change was they greatly increased the tactical cooldown time. It used to be like 45 seconds, like a solid 45 seconds between grapples. So at first it was like every like 10 seconds, and literally Pathfinder.
I think it was like 12, and he could just murder a whole 3-man team.
Well, not even just murder a whole 3-man team. He could just run away from a fight, and there is nothing you can do to. Not even Octane can catch him. Like that's how quickly Pathfinder just be able to get the fuck away from a fight. And so they were like, everyone was like, this is just too OP. And so the developers like, we agree. And so they made it like a 45-second cooldown, and people were pissed. Literally, career Pathfinders stopped playing Pathfinder because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was huge. And then people were like, okay, well, like, this is a little bit too much of a nerf. And so they changed it so that now, depending on the distance that you travel with your grapple hook, is how long your cooldown is. So it goes from like 15 to 35. And if you do if you accidentally click it and you like do only go like a foot, your cooldown is now 12 seconds. But if you do it the right way and you like launch yourself as far as you possibly can, your cooldown is 35 seconds. Yeah. And so that's where Pathfinder is currently right now. Now, so Joel, what are your thoughts on what you think about Pathfinder?
Well, so the other change they added, because you mentioned the first one, the second is just really, so when you scan the beacon, he gets his ult instantly.
Oh yeah, that's a new one.
And then the ult also, every beacon you scan, you get the cooldown of the zipline ultimate is 10 seconds less. So, which is, I get it. I'm the whole 10 seconds thing. It kind of makes sense. Kind of. My main change, I actually have a very simple fix for this. I'm really hoping you have a lot to talk about, because mine's actually pretty simple. I think he's fair. I was one of those people that got really pissed off by the Pathfinders either always running away or chasing me down because they could just grapple every fucking 10 seconds.
Right.
So I think the change is fair. Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple different things I would propose. The two main things that stand out to me are, one, they need to approach his zip lines the way they approach Watson.
Okay.
So Watson used to be able to put down as many fucking pylons as she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Now she can only put down a maximum of 2 or 3 at a time before the one before it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But if you have a Pathfinder who knows where the center of the ring is, you'll get to the center of the ring, and he has 3 to sometimes 5 zip lines set up as escape routes.
Right.
Or like up to those little mountains if you're on World's Edge, and then across the mountains, so that the only other way to get up there is have an Octane, have a Pathfinder, be Valkyrie.
Right.
Yeah. Which is it is an advantage of Pathfinder that he can get to those reaches. I get that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the zip lines don't disappear, and I know that Octane's jump pads don't disappear either, but the versatility, like the zip line, you just look and go. Yeah. With Octane, you either have to walk, run,
or slide
into it, and then you can. I mean, like, how many times have we been together and our third misses the jump? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it does happen. Let's just be honest. Like even if you're a skilled player, it's possible.
Yeah.
But with Pathfinder, there's not a whole lot of room for error unless you forget to jump off, and then it slings you into oblivion.
Right.
Which we're not going to talk about because I have really bad habit of that. So
happened to me too.
Yeah. So I think really the only change or two I would make is he shouldn't get infinite zip lines placed. I think that's a little redonkulous. Mm-hmm. But it's a very minor point. But my main suggestion for him is you kind of alluded to it, I think. Well, he's the OG beacon guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else is Pathfinder?
A robot.
Thank you. Which means he can process more data than our puny organic brains. So I'm actually going to take a page out of the game we always poop on this show, Warzone.
Okay.
Warzone, the dude, one of the in the first couple months of the games, one of the dudes that had the highest points, so not the highest kills per se, but the highest points. He was the first dude to get this many points in a game. The reason he did it is because in Call of Duty, you can just keep doing the recon missions.
Right.
And so you can see the overall I guess, is it regression of the ring? Technically, it's progression, but it's
I get smaller. You. Yeah.
So you see that. So I think Pathfinder, because right now, if you are any character that can scan the beacon, you scan the beacon and it says survey data on map, and you can't scan it again.
Right.
I think Pathfinder, he shouldn't be able to just spam it on the same beacon. But I think if he finds another beacon before the ring closes, it just shows the second one. Like, I think he should be able to like go beacon to beacon and figure out where the center of the ring's going to be. Like, he's a computer.
Yeah.
The beacons were literally freaking designed for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, that helps balance out his ultimate charge time because, you know, maybe cap it so it only goes down by 30 seconds total.
Right.
You know, but I think that's fair. I think both those changes are completely fair. Like,
yeah,
you know, I also do think like he has a slightly unfair movement advantage with the field of view thing because like Valkyrie can kind of juke you in midair, but she moves slow, so it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
All the other characters, when they change their movement directions, they physically change, so they're still technically stationary for like a brief second. But with Pathfinder, that I forget which streamer it was that went kind of viral from doing it, but basically like if you shoot your grapple like to the left and you look where you want to go, it detaches and flies. But if you turn and look and the impact point is in your field of view, you can like swing. So you either build your momentum or you can straight up do a full flank on a team that way.
Oh yeah.
And nobody else has. I'm okay with him having this superior ability like that, but maybe there should be like a maximum amount of time the grapple stays in place. You know, like, so if the grapple at the fullest distance takes 5 seconds to pull you up the side of a building, if you're trying to use the grapple for longer than 5 seconds, it should disengage.
Right.
Because Valkyrie, what happens to her? She runs out of gas literally in the middle of the air and just boom, falls.
Right. And yeah, there's actually people who would grapple onto the ball drones, you know, on World's Edge or whatever the hell, where there's drones that fly through the sky. They have the balls that change color and you shoot them. Yeah. There's guys who will lock onto that with Pathfinder and infinite 360 spin on it. Like it'll carry them across like the flight path of the drone. Like you can stay up there forever. I mean, it's hard to do, right? You have to get really good at doing it. But there's people who know how to do it, and you don't ever really see it. But people can do it.
It reminds me of the Dark Days that were also really fun when you could put Rampart's turret on the crypto drone.
Oh man,
fly someone around as basically just like a fortress. Like
that was hilarious.
You're basically Optimus Prime with no body. Like it was like tight, dude. Like
it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny and it was pretty OP. But like they fixed that shit quick. You know what I mean?
They really did.
And I understand that's like part of his origin, but it's like, you know, a couple of the complaints I noticed on our socials from what we suggested with Rev is, and as you forewarned, like we understand that, especially you having like the one target ability, like that's a complete rework of a character. But like he is an assassin, so we were okay with it. Again, people, this is just our fantasy opinions on stuff. But like this isn't a major overhaul for Path. It's just like a physics update. Like, hey, the grappling hook can only be deployed for 6 seconds
or something.
That's an easy fix. Dude, finding multiple rings, bro, Pathfinder's pick rate would go so far up if you could literally just go like beacon to beacon and know where to set up. Like you could literally just like know where you're going to drop, especially if it's like Olympus where there's the vehicles. You land at the beacon closest to a vehicle, you take the vehicle to the second beacon, right? Like boom, boom, boom. You just keep going, and then suddenly you're in the last ring, and you have multiple zip avenues of escape or sniper paths.
Easy peasy.
What about you? Sorry, I know you were halfway through when I kept going.
No, I wasn't. You started. You've been talking this entire time, Joel.
Well,
I just want to let you know.
I
just want to let you know.
A pretty voice. So.
I want you to feel bad about. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, dude, you kind of said everything that I was gonna say. I think one of the things that I think you and I kind of talk about, and no one really else kind of talks about it, is like character identity and like what makes sense for the kind of character that they are. You know, like when we talked about Revenant, we were like, oh, he's an assassin. Let's play to his assassin abilities, you know. And one thing that we didn't mention last time we spoke about Revenant, but we're talking about now with Pathfinder, is Revenant's also a robot. And so I think that Pathfinder and Revenant should have some robot specific ability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there should be something that Pathfinder and Revenant have that the other characters don't have, like data processing. You know,
that's and to that point, you're right. Like, why does Crypto's drone, which is a fucking robot, why can it read the map data instantly from the thing?
right?
But Pathfinder still takes a minute, you know?
Right.
Like,
And
maybe Rev should also be able to access the bacon.
right, because he has the high climbing, so he can climb up to the high places too.
Pathfinder should also get the 30% faster crouch speed, you know?
Or something, right? Yeah, like I think with Pathfinder, the problem with Pathfinder isn't that he's lacking something. The problem is that there's other characters who have more than he has.
Yes.
Right. And that's the same problem with like characters like Crypto, for example, who without Crypto's drone, he's utterly useless. You know what I mean? There's just other characters that just have better things, you know. Caustic and Gibby take more damage. Fucking Gibby has how many passives? He takes more damage. He has a fast res inside of his drone, and he has the gun shield. You know what I mean? Like he has like all these things, you know. There's characters that just have multiple things going for them.
Yeah. And Pathfinder is just literally worthless at this point in time.
Well, right. Like, I mean, Pathfinder. Okay, hold on. Pathfinder's not worthless. Like, his
passive is worthless.
His passive is worthless, and so you just have to rely on your ropes. Which, you know, like there's different ways that we can fix the ropes or do things like that. But there's nothing that he has that makes him like stand out. But okay, what makes Pathfinder good is this: he can rope around. And the average player cannot shoot someone who's flying through the air.
Correct.
The average player cannot. That's why Horizon was such a menace. Was that Horizon was just hard to shoot when they're flying through the fucking air for the average person. And like the pros even say this. They know that it's just not fair for the average person, the mediocre gamer, to go into a fight with a Pathfinder swinging fucking ropes around, you know? That's why Octane's so hard, because Octane fucking flies through the air and people just can't shoot him. That's the only reason why Pathfinder is good. It's the only reason why.
And it's also why nobody's complaining about Valkyrie, because she's so slow in the air.
She's so slow in the air, and number one. Number two, she can't shoot you in the air. Pathfinder has been like the only like character release that, well, I mean, besides like Fuse and like Rampart, but like it was so refreshing to get Valkyrie right after Horizon, because Horizon was so oppressive, and then you get Valkyrie who's literally useless in the air. You know what I mean? Like she can't do shit except for shoot her rockets, but then you shoot your rockets, then what are you gonna do? Nothing in the air. You know, you're gonna go up, drop a deuce sign, and then get shot. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can do in the air as Valkyrie. And so
you just nailed that on the fucking head.
But it's true. It's true. So that's the only reason why Pathfinder is quote unquote good, is because the average mediocre gamer cannot shoot a moving target in the air, let alone fucking someone running right in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would even be willing to give him back the change that they took out from zipline mechanics, like, but just specifically to him, because remember you used to be able to like do the thing on the zip where you could just jump and reattach, and they took that out. You can only jump once and reattach once. Once you do it, if you try to do it a second time, you fall off the zip.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
Yes,
I don't play Pathfinder, so
well, no, it's even on like the zip lines in the game going
right.
Because people would be going and then they'd hear the Kraber or the triple take,
right,
or the charge rifle or the R3 or whatever, or especially the Spitty. You know, when you have a Spitty and you're still on a zip, you can kill him. You know,
for sure. Yeah.
So people would do like the jump and spin in place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't get hit. Now you can just spin. So maybe if it's like a Pathfinder deployed zip line, you can have a little bit more mobility specifically just on his zips. But then again, that's like a whole game mechanic you're now changing, which might be kind of hard to pull off.
Maybe. So yeah. So for me, like I said, I have nothing different from what you said. Because like I said, it's not that he's in a bad place. It's just that what he has is not as good as others.
Yeah.
So
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I guess besides that, like just only others like subtle update reminder. Like I said earlier, Split happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Get
the
your ranks
split.
back. We're back
Yeah.
on. We're back on Olympus. So
Mm-hmm.
if you were sick of World's Edge for ranked, Lord knows I was.
Mm-hmm.
Ye- oh,
Yeah, that's
interesting.
it.
Interesting. I had an interesting notification. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
That's
World's,
it. That's all I got.
Olympus is back. The vines are everywhere.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All I'll say about those pesky vines is pay attention to your positioning on Olympus a little better. We lost a couple crucial games this week because there's like parts where those new vines that they've added in afford some really pesky like sniper holes that you don't realize are there. Like real, like especially when you're fighting around the Icarus, the new ship that's crashed or parked, crashed, parked, whatever. Like we were fighting outside of the ship, and like I was like, "Oh, I'm in cover, I'm great." This, that, the other thing. Boom, Kraber in the head from like under a vine, like this little, like I couldn't even see the person. You know what I mean? Like I barely saw their foot moving. I don't even know how they had enough clearance to back up and see me with their eyes to Kraber me. So be better with the map awareness. But yeah, Olympus is back. I'm leaning more and more towards Olympus actually being my favorite map, Calvin. I don't know about you.
Wow, I mean, I don't have a favorite map, but that's interesting. Very interesting.
It's like the one map where I'm not mad when it's in the rotation. Does that make sense?
So wait, are you mad about World's Edge or Kings Canyon?
I'm not like mad, but like I definitely get more excited when I see Olympus.
I think because like when you started taking Apex seriously, when Olympus was like around, was more of a primary map because they did away with World's Edge for such a long time.
That's true. Yeah, and it's almost like when we play Olympus, I play Valkyrie. But when we play World's Edge, I run the fart box. You know, I got to run Caustic. You know, because you have more buildings, you have more of the fighting is inside on World's Edge.
Totally.
Especially because everybody just drops at Fragment East or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Anyways, I think that's it.
That's all I got.
Do you have anything else, my friend?
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Can you just say that's all I got one more time? Because I feel like I've made
you say it like
5 times. Okay,
that's all I got.
Everybody, I'm JoelCupcake.
And I'm CowVan. Thank you for listening to episode 14. Get your friends, tell your friends to come listen to us. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're on there. Check us out on YouTube. Pex Pals on YouTube. Go check that out. And like we said at the beginning of the show, if you have anything you want to say to us about any topics you want to talk about, or you disagree with something we said, send us a message. Send us a message on Twitter at CowVan, at JoelCupcake. Send us a message on Instagram, Pex Pals Podcast. Check us out on TikTok at Pex Pals. Send some messages there too. Hit me in the DMs. I'm always ready for some spicy, sexy DMs. So go ahead and
even if you have some just like completely ludicrous game clip, we'd love to.
Yeah,
we'd love to share awareness to our fellow content creators. You know what I mean? So if you have something, even especially if it's like one of those like what the hell happened moments, like I've recently had a couple moments where we kill each other at the same time. Like Apex isn't a game designed to work like that.
Right.
But it still happens sometimes.
It happens.
So if you have one of those like, did that just happen?
Right.
Moments, send it on in. Send it on in, everybody. And don't forget, if you are listening on the podcast medium, which most of you do, nobody really watches the YouTube, please leave us a review.
Yes.
Leaving us a review. Like everyone knows that pesky word algorithm, but like we don't, we do this for fun. We hope you guys enjoy it. If you enjoy it, please help us out and leave us a positive review on whatever platform you listen on. Because I like gold stars. I'll just say it.
Let's do it. I mean, I love gold stars as well. Gold stars, Super Mario 64, got them all.
Well, you know what, Calvin? I love you, and I love all of our listeners. And this has been another episode of Pex Pals. And now, Calvin, what's our phrase for the week? What are we ending on?
You know what? I'm just gonna stick tried and true. Beak, 6 feet deep.
I can't argue. I got nothing. That's it. Thanks, everybody. See you.